Our guest is Volkswagen Group of America CEO Scott Keogh because he has a new car. I love new car announcements, Scott, as you know. So the ID4, for those of us watching on television, it's sitting right behind you. So tell us about the ID4.
You know, first of all, it's our first all-electric SUV. It's made off our MEB platform. As you know, David, we're making this in 5 factories across the globe, 2 in Europe, 2 in China, and of course down in Tennessee. What you have here, in my mind, is a spaceship. The car drives like a GTI. It puts an absolute smile on your face. It has all the latest technology. And frankly, we're putting in a price point that's going to finally drive real electric vehicle adoption. You know, as you know, EVs are about 2% of the market. There's projections that they're going to go all the way up to 40, 50% of the market. And we want to get in early with a cool car, and that's exactly what we have behind us.
What kind of demand are you seeing from dealers at this point? Are they eager to get it?
You know, so far it's exciting. The vehicle, of course, we've been discussing it for months with our dealers. It's just spidering across the country as we speak. And just this weekend, I was looking after my kids in the garden, and my text was just lighting up. As the trucks pulled into the parking lot, they came off. Dealers from Seattle, dealers from Maryland, dealers from Pennsylvania. So it's really brought a real lot of excitement to the showroom floor. So it's cool.
So let's be honest, Scott. There are a few people in the market already, particularly one starting with a T. You know, how can you catch up with some of the people that are already there? What's going to make people come over to you as opposed to stick with the T car?
Look, I think a couple of things. I think the first thing is, you know, being a business journalist, there never is someone who controls 85% market share. And that's basically what Tesla has in the United States. There's always a counterbalance. I think Burger King needs McDonald's, Coke needs Pepsi, and on, and Tesla needs Volkswagen. So what do we have? Look, we have global scale. We have hundreds of millions of customers that love our cars, and we're investing in great technology. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is we have 600 dealers spread across the country that are excited and motivated to sell this car. And the final point is we've got a very competitive car. I think Edmunds summed it up well. Edmunds compared the products and said, we love the ID4. But you know, the real trick for me, and I don't want to belabor it, it's not the 2% of EV sales. What we're trying to do here is to go after the 90% of internal combustion engine sales. So we want to get the RAV4 owner and the CR-V owner. And the way to do that, great technology at a great price point. And I think that's our competitive advantage. We want to bring electrification to the millions, not just the millionaires, if you will. And that's what this car will do and can do.
Scott, you mentioned Tennessee. Give us a sense of when you're going to start making this car in Tennessee.
Yeah, the vehicle behind me, for about 1.5 years, we'll be importing the vehicle. But of course, the factory is built. We have a vehicle assembly. We have battery assembly down there. The robots are in. We're taking initial runs. September of next year, the first cars will come down the line. But having just gotten back from Tennessee, it's just phenomenal how excited the workers are to access this new technology. So pretty cool stuff.
So Scott, take us into that battery technology, particularly because there seems to be something of a dispute between the 2 South Korean producers, LG Chem and SK Innovation. As I understand it, initially your ID4 is going to be powered by LG Chem, but when you get it back to Tennessee, it's going to be SK Innovation, and they're banned right now, right, by the International Trade Commission.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look, I think the first thing is, of course, we have massive sourcing of batteries between LG Chem, SKI, as you mentioned, plus CATL, the Chinese corporation. The second big announcement, if you know, is we're going to start to internalize and do a lot of this battery work ourselves. I think it's important. But specifically there, look, we got a 2-year carve-out. That's what's been granted. And I have a very simple point of view. I am not a lawyer. I am not a politician. There's no way in the world this trade dispute should impact American jobs. And those jobs are in Tennessee, where there's a $1 billion investment on our side, and then, of course, in Georgia. So I hope it straightens out. I'm confident it will get straightened out. But if there's any punishment to be doled out, it's not to be doled out to the American worker. Full stop.
Yeah, well, Scott, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not a patent lawyer, so I wouldn't touch that question with a 10-foot pole. Let me ask about chips, though, because that's an issue for so many car manufacturers right now around the world, the shortage of these microchips. How's it affecting Volkswagen?
Look, we've been able to navigate it okay. Look, it's been something that's been week by week, day by day. And basically, there's a global allocation, and then we allocate that to the markets, and then in the markets, we decide which vehicles get it and don't get it. At the end of the day, I think we can be okay, but I think it's going to ride with us to the fall. But the crucial thing we're looking at, David, is, of course, once you get these chips, you have to decide. And you can look at your stocking factors, you can look at your profit margins, and of course, put them into the vehicles where you have the best margins and the tightest supply. So it's going to be chaotic and challenging, but I think we can navigate through it, still being able to hit our retail targets for this year.
Scott, this is Balance of Power. We talk a lot about Washington, about policy. We have a Biden administration coming in now, really wanting to go green in a big way. How much of a lift is Volkswagen anticipating, if at all, to sales of things like the ID.4?
You know, David, I think it certainly gives us a tailwind. You know, pre-Biden, before the administration, we already made these decisions. As you know, our investment cycles are years in advance. So we've been investing billions in these platforms, billions in these factories. We've signed on to the Paris Climate Accord. But of course, if you get an administration that's going to give you some tailwind, it helps and it's fantastic. And if you look at it, in my conversations with the administration and my colleagues at automotive companies, there's two things they're stressing. One, the environment and CO2 reduction, therefore get more electric cars. The second thing is high-tech U.S. jobs. So in my mind, that's what we're doing, David.